Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Eva, our channel, I should say. I'm really not leaving Gary out. It's just, whatever. Anyway, today we're going to be starting well, I think it's really cool. I don't even know what to call it. It's like an album with an attached accordion file thing. It doesn't make sense, I know, but that's what it is, and it's really neat. Now, the theme of this is a sewing or maybe wedding, but it's definitely sewing. So we've got lots and lots of antique sewing machines and thread and all sorts of old-fashioned dresses like these and things like that. It's really cute. I like that it's not grungy. And this is a Polka Art Studio, I believe. If that's not true, I apologize. I'm sure that's Polka Art Studio. Anyway, whoever it is will be linked in the description box, along with a link to their original video. Now, their original video, they don't speak in their videos. They just do the putting together thing. And for some people that's really good, and for other people it's not so good. I like it when people are explaining what they're doing, but I know that there are people that it doesn't bother them if there is no explanation. Anyways, I will be explaining because this one is not particularly complicated, again, if you're organized. And I tried to be organized right now. So it's two parts. One is the booklet/album, and the other is the accordion folder. So we're going to be doing the album first, and then we'll attack. In the next video, we'll do the folder, and the folder is this part. And then on top of that, there's a bunch of ephemera that comes with this kit that I will show you when we get to the end kind of thing. And we'll put some. It's not a huge amount of ephemera in this one, which is really nice. But it's enough. Like, it's enough to decorate or do whatever it is you want to do with it. All right, so these are the pages for the album. It is the kind of album where you have an accordion fold and you glue the bits together, and that forms your spine on, and you have the space in between each, and you put a page on either side. And that way you get 2 pages per folded part. So this is the booklet spine part, and this actually goes on the inside. We're not going to do the cover first, we're going to do the pages first, because I think if I get the pages out of the way, it'll start to make a bit more sense. Whereas if I do the cover, it's really not going to explain much of anything to you. So it says on the little instruction, to form a pocket, glue only the sides and bottom and leave the top open. What it's referring to is these little pieces here. So I've already scored all of these. I'm going to be doing scoring later when I do the album cover, because I haven't scored all that yet. This was a long time cutting it out and prepping it. I'm trying a new paper. This is a 110 pound, no, it's a 65 pound cover, which is lighter than a 110 pound index, okay? So it's not as heavy, and it has a matte feel to it. It's not super smooth. It actually has, there's a texture, but it's not like bumpy. It's like when you run your hand over the paper, you can feel it's not smooth. It's not super smooth. Anyway, just letting you know that that's the paper I'm using. It was a new kind. I thought I was ordering something different. But anyway, so the pockets go on here and here, and as you can see, they line up with the picture so that they're sort of hidden pockets. And what happens is, I'll leave those to the side for a moment. You fold this like this. You fold this up like this. That becomes your page, and then your little pockets fit on top of each page. And each page has a pocket that matches like this. I just really think it's cool. Now, I did not print on the back here because there are things that you're going to be putting into this album, and you know, it doesn't need to be printed there. I've just realized I may have to do this as well. This is strange because on hers she didn't have this. She didn't have, I don't think anyway. I don't think she had, oh, unless it folds to the inside, which doesn't really make sense. Or maybe, oh, I know what that is. That, okay. So, okay, got it figured out. Sorry. Here I am going along. Okay, so this folds in. Where's my bone folder guy? Here. So this folds in, and this folds in. And you want to make sure when you're doing something like this where you've got two meeting on a corner, you want to make sure that the bottom one is over top of the side one, so that when you put something in, let me see if I can demo this. Not demolish, demonstrate. When you put something in, when it slides down in there, it's not catching on the corner. So when you slide something in, because this is all the way down on the inside, it can't catch on this part. Okay? If you do it the other way around, then there is the possibility that you can catch on that and have trouble putting your whatever it is into that pocket, because this is going to be glued. This is all glued over. So when you're sliding in, if you don't have this glued properly, then you will end up with that. You can end up with a problem. And it just makes it easier for you to slide things in and out and stuff. So when you're putting these together, okay, so you do this, and then what this is, which I didn't score, and I'm going to have to. I didn't know I had to score. Hang on, let me find my, I'll use my bone folder. I was looking for my little score guy. I've got a little ball stylus, but this works just as good. Okay. So you want to, this then becomes your hinge. That's why it's decorated, of course. It makes sense, when you think it through. Anyway, so that's decorated. So you fold that back and forth. This is going to fold over, and this is all going to glue together. So getting my glue, and let's get this glued first. So I always glue the little corner and just push it into place and hold it there for a second. And that way it doesn't give me problems later on. You know, it doesn't say, oh, I think I'd like to get in the way and go the wrong way. And, you know, all those things corners like to do. All right. So let's put the glue over there, and then make sure that you don't tuck this in because you're going to need it. There. And we're going to do that. And then that becomes your page. Now, these little pockets, I'm just going to do each page all at once, because if I start, make sure you got the sides upside up. Yes. If I lay these all aside and then go to put them back on later, I'll end up with the wrong ones and the wrong thing, and yeah, we'll just save ourselves a headache. And I'm not going to put a little slot here. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put a little oval or anything there. Line it up as best you can to make it almost invisible. Right. The glue says, well, I think I'd just like to shift around a little bit. There. Make it so it's almost invisible, the little pocket. But you know it's there, so you can still tuck things in there, So it's a little hidden pocket. And then you've got another one on this side. So that was what it was talking about when it said to form the pocket. And they don't really give you any directions. Well, they do. There is a full direction sheet that comes with it, and if you're the kind of person who can do that and follow direction sheet, the full directions are on the sheet. If you kind of need to refer back, and you know, it's a handy thing. Mine is way over there, of course, where I can't get at it, so you know, so we're winging it here, folks. What else is new on this channel? Well, we're not quite Kentucky Fried Chicken, but you know. Oh, that was bad, because you know, moms shouldn't tell dad jokes. Mind you, I was never a mom, so I'm okay. I'm safe. Oh, don't do that. I was just gonna use my knife and cut, and I realized I don't have my cutting mat here. So we'll just do this. Gonna cut this little sliver off. There's one on that side I don't really want. There. Okay. So now that's page 1. Page the once. And what's going to happen is, after we fold all these together and make it, maybe I should show you how to do that. Let's do that. I won't glue these onto it, but then I can show you better. So what we want to do is we want to score each one of these lines. I was using my big score thing earlier to do all the scoring on those things. It's sitting beside me. I could yank it out, but this is actually just as easy for me for here, for now, for this. And this is a silicone spongy mat. It doesn't keep the, like if you push down and scratch on it, it doesn't make a mark on it. So it doesn't hold the mark, so it's good. And this was a cheap purchase too. I got that on Amazon, I think. It's quite a nice big one, and I quite like it because it does sort of, you know, protect the table, and you can put all sorts on it and clean it off fairly easily, which is one thing I really like about it. Just because it's silicone, you know, it does that. All right. And when you're looking at this, I'll talk in a second. Let me just get this done. Okay. Done. Okay, good. All right, so when you're looking at this, first off, make sure that you've got it right side up. Is that right side up? Yeah, I like the roses facing upward, you know, rather than hanging downward, although hanging downward might be the way they're meant to be. No, the buds are facing upwards. Okay, so when you're looking at this, you can see that there's a pair and a pair and a pair of little sections. And there's some couple of skinny ones and 2 wide ones. So what we want to do is we want to bend the wide ones upward. Okay. You're going to bend this one in the middle upward, like a mountain, like that. Okay. And then you're going to build this one like a valley, they call them. So you want to fold that one inwards like that. Let me just get this. Yeah. Okay. And what you're doing is then you're going to glue these things together, these fat pieces here together, and they make your hinge. And your page, one goes on one side of it, like, and you can see where it should glue, and you glue it to the edge like that. Okay, sorry, you glue it to the edge like that, and you're gluing this part together. So when you're folding, then this one, you want this part to go up. See, if you just, it makes it so easy if you fold the middle of your pear upright. Fold it into what they call a mountain. Okay? So you fold it upright, and then it naturally you can see that it needs to then fold the other way for the other part, for the other fold. Okay, so you see that? So this little guy folds like this. And I'm sorry if I seem to be jumping all over, but I wanted to show you how the pages go. The only way I can do that is to make this reasonably. Why is this not even? Don't know. It seems to want to be folding crooked. Oh, it folded in crooked on this one. This is the problem with these really skinny bits. You kind of have to force them to fold where you need them to fold. So if when you're folding, you see that one edge is really skinny, all of a sudden in like a part of it, then you need to go in and force that to fold where you need it to fold, and not fold where it wants to fold. And then you need to sort of flatten that out. Okay, so that should now, because this part here, this flat part, becomes, let me just get this one done. Show you. If we can get this one to fold properly. Okay. You doing it? You folding where I need you? Yeah. Seems to be. Okay. Okay. Push down, push down. All right. So I've got two of these, okay? And the little part in between, that little skinny part, that's just between your pages to give your pages room to move and turn. Because this becomes your page turner, this piece here. This part glues into your book, into your spine on the outside, like on the inside of your cover, but beside where the spine is, and that holds it in place. So let me finish. Let's take the ruler and see if we can get it to do it this way. Because sometimes you can force it with the ruler easier than you can with the bone folder. No. Yeah, I think so. I think this is going to work. It's a little awkward too because I have to do this away from me, so that I'm under the camera for you, so you can see what I'm doing. Otherwise, you don't know what I'm doing. You don't know what I'm up to over here. Okay, and then we're going to do this middle one. Make sure the middle one of the two fat ones is up. So whenever you're doing this type of an album spine joiner, page turner, I don't even know what the official term is or if it has one. But whenever you're doing this style, there's always pairs, and those two have to be glued together. So we're going to be gluing this two and this two and this two together. And when you do that, find the pairs and then that just push that up and fold it upwards. And then that way you're getting the fold correct, like in the right direction. And then the others go down. So there's this one. Okay. Let go of my bone folder. Okay. So there. So I'm going to glue these two together. Then we're going to glue these two together. You can see. Then we're going to glue these two together. So let me just get going with that. We want to make sure that there's enough glue because this is the join in your book. This is where your pages are going to be going. So put some glue on both sides of where you're joining it. And then fold it over flat and push it down. You've already creased it, so it's not hurting anything to do this, to fold it over flat and push it down, okay? There you go. Then we're going to do this one. Same trick. Be careful you don't glue in the little line, the little part in the middle. Don't glue there. You want to make sure that you don't. Because that's your do not glue area. And then fold this one over like that. Push it down. Now we've got 2 of them done. There's just 1 to go. There. Push that one over and push it down. There. So this is what it looks like, and that's what it's going to look like in your book, your album, when we're done. And the pages, these pages, depending on which side is fancy, they're going to go like this, and you put them in so that, like, you take this, okay, turn it over. This is page 1. It's actually page 2, but we're gonna, so you would bring it here, and you're gonna put it there. You're gonna push it in as much as you can, but you also have to make sure, that it can move. But this is actually your movement, so you can glue this down pretty snug in there, if you see what I mean. Okay, because it's not folding up over that. This is your movement. So once it's glued like this, that is your movement. This part here is your movement. So hopefully that explained how these are going to go in. Now, let's get on with it and get the rest of these glued together so we can put them in. All right, we got the pretty girl dress. I'm doing the pockets while it's flat because I don't see the point in folding it together and then doing the pocket when you can just as easily do the pocket on this part. Actually easier because it's flat. Line up your picture, so that it joins, everything joins and it just flows together. Make sure that you're down to the bottom and you're all lined up real nice. There we go. And we'll get this one. I'm really trying to keep my lid on my right hand side this time. I don't know if it's going to work or it's not. If suddenly you see me reach into the other side to put my glue bottle down, then that's why, because the lid is on the other side. Again. Okay. Okay. We are doing, we want this over. Just make sure your edges are also lined up, like it's not just the picture, although the picture will help. Now in this case, I accidentally cut the bottom off a little bit short, so I didn't end up with the edge, the little edge. But it's okay because I just lifted it up a little higher to fit it into the picture. So, all right, now we move this over, or we fold this over, There we go. Move this in. The brown edges go in, okay, not your pretty edge. The brown edges don't need to be seen, and they just fold in. And you don't even need a really big one, as you can see here. Now remember, put the corner, put your side flap on the, put your bottom flap on the top of the other one, of your side flap. I don't know. Like that. Do it that way. You can't see. There you go. Okay. Hold that down. I got glue all on the corner there. I don't want to really get it all over my fingers if I can help it. There we go. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, when you're gluing things like this, and it doesn't matter if you've got one side or two sides, always glue the bottom up over the sides. That's all you have to remember. Glue the bottom part, the bottom flap up over the sides first. There we go. And then let's get this. That's what we forgot. There's a little edge there. There. So now you can see how these are going to go. One on one side of that, one on the other side of that. You're going to glue them into place, making sure that they are not, that the page itself is not glued to the thing, but just the flap is. Okay, so that's how it's going to go, and then that becomes your page turner sort of thing. This part will bend. You will need to bend, so you can bend it, do a bendy thing on it in both ways if you can. And my thing seems to be wider than it's supposed to be, but hopefully that doesn't cause me too much grief. But we will see. Anyway, those two are 1 and 2. Okay. And we've only got, like, there's only six pages, 3 sets. 3 sets. And that's why I'm only doing this. This might even stretch into a longer video. Well, not longer video, but longer sets of videos. Longer set series. You know. Yes, I am tired tonight. I am. I'm getting very stressed with this whole moving thing, and it is not helping anything that we're doing. Okay. Glue. So glue the bottom over the side at the very corner. And just push it down. No, push it down to hold it in. And then glue the rest. I always put a little glue on the corner because then it holds that corner properly. You don't end up with problems later on. Just make sure you don't glue inside your thing, your pocket, because that could cause issues as well. So there we go. That's one. Oh, wait. Yeah, after yapping away about doing this, before laying it down. Yeah. Here we are. Yeah, I forgot all about these pockets. I'm used to adding a pocket, to a page before. I'm used to this kind of a thing, and this is actually really cool because I've never made a album slash folder, file folder thing. Accordion folder, that's what the words, that's the words, that's the right ones. Accordion folder. I've never made one connected to an album. I've made accordion folders, I've just never made one connected to an album. And this is really cool. It looks really cool. I don't have. I never made never made a pre, like a sort of a pre one. I know that some YouTubers do that. They make you a pre one, and then they show you that, and then they, then they do it. And I don't do that. How about if I do the other pocket as well? Would that be awesome? I think that'd be really cool. Get this pocket done as well, and then look at that. We've got both pockets done on one page. Miracle of miracles. Yeah, I'm being a little sarcastic with myself tonight. You're right. Oh, line up. Do I need to move you over a smidge? I don't know. Don't think so. Nope, that's looking pretty good. Lined up on the lines and everything, so yeah. All right, that's those two. Or that's that one, I should say. I was looking for its partner. It's here. All right, let's try and do this the right way. Hang on. I ought to take my jacket off. It's way too warm now. It was cool in the house earlier, so I put the jacket on. We've got snow falling outside. Right now we've got probably 6 inches of snow, in old school language. Don't ask me what that is in centimeters. I haven't a clue. The Canadians are funny about their measurements, and we have mixed measurements. Centimeters, good for you. But we have mixed measurements. We measure things weird. So this, I know 6 inches. I know how much that is. So I can, in my head, I can see it, how deep that is. But if you told me how many centimeters or whatever that is, I would say, oh, okay, that's nice. Nod my head, pretend I knew what you were talking about. Let me just, maybe pretending. Then I'd go online and I'd Google it and I'd say, so many centimeters equals how many inches? I do that all the time with Amazon. Amazon sells to Canada in centimeters and millimeters and whatever. And I grew up in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. I was in my 20s already, and that was when they decided to switch us over to this. And you do all your schooling in a different language basically, and then you have to learn this new. And I've learned it to a point. I mean, driving a car, I was always good driving. When I drove, I don't drive anymore. I haven't driven for a few years now because of my eyes. They didn't take my license away. I took it away from myself. Love driving, absolutely love it. But you have to make these decisions. If you're a smart person, you make the decisions whether you want to or not. Like I didn't want to, but it was something that I decided was safer for everybody else out there and me too. So rather than taking your life into my hands, I quit driving. And I was a really good driver. But, life happens and you deal with it and it is what it is. So Gary does all the driving. Yeah. Looks after the vehicle and all the stuff, Okay, we've got a little bit of a thing sticking out here. I might just sliver off on here. Now these are some of the things that you need to do, because these kits, as much as they would like them to be and as much as you might like them to be, they cannot be exact. Your printer is different from my printer, is different from their printer. Even if it's the same brand of printer, even if it's the same model and year and everything, it will print slightly different. So, and then paper. comes into play. So your paper is different from my paper, you know, kind of thing. It all matters. It all makes a difference to how things might print, or even how they might fold, you know, like, and then of course, you know, if you don't get your fold exactly the same way as the original did, then yours is going to be different. It's going to be folded different. So forgot to pre-fold this. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Okay. So yeah, so when you're, you know, you can't get mad at the designer, or, you know, the person selling you a kit, because yours doesn't do what it did for them on you know, on their channel or whatever, because it doesn't work that way. It just, you know, it just depends. So you may have to do a little trimming. You may have to do, you know, a little something different. And if you do, it's just part of, you know, crafting and doing. So if you're a beginner, you know, I say things like this more for the beginners, because the beginners are, you know, they're unsure of themselves, and you know, we were all beginners once, and I try to be considerate of beginners in anything that I'm dealing with, because beginners, I mean, I remember being a beginner in everything that I've ever attempted, and, you know, and in some cases, I mean, I'm still a beginner, you know, in things that I'm doing. So, you know, I always try and take beginners into account, even when I'm doing something that's a little more complicated, like this is. I'm still thinking, well, maybe a beginner would like to attempt it if they're very brave, you know. So I want to make it as clear as I can to everybody, whether you're a beginner or not, how to make this, how to put it together, so that, you know, but explain that if it doesn't fit the same way as you saw somebody else's, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you've done something wrong, or the kit is wrong, or anything like that. I mean, a digital kit is a digital kit. Yours is identical to mine. It's what happens after you get it and you print yours. I mean, the digital kit part is identical. It can't be anything else. It's the same file. You download that file, I download that file, it's the same file. So it's not changing, but your printer could be different. You know, or the way that you cut, or the way that, you know, it's got something to do with your end being different from my end. You know what I mean? Anyway, just thought I'd mention that in case there's someone that's, you know, maybe got a kit and thinking, well, mine doesn't go together like that. Mine doesn't do that. Now, I think this is a really beautiful kit. I mean, I love the pictures, you know. I love the dresses. I always wanted to wear dresses like that. I never did, but I always wanted to. I had a boyfriend one time who loved really old-fashioned stuff, and for Christmas that year, we were going to a dance, and I made myself a velvet, it was a burgundy velvet dress with a cape, and I even had a muff that I made for it, to keep my hands warm, and I made a bow tie for him. He was absolutely thrilled. He loved it. We had a really good time at the dance, and it was really Christmassy, like with the outfit that we had, and it wasn't like today we hear cosplay a lot. I don't even know what that is. I mean, I know it's dressing up and pretending you're somebody else, whatever. That wasn't what it was. We were not dressed in a costume. I made the clothes, and we were at a dance, and it was a formal. And there were other women there in velvet dresses and things like that. Mine was just more old-fashioned. It had puffy sleeves and a full skirt on it, but it wasn't like the big ballroom skirts, because it was too heavy for that. But yeah, it was really nice. It was a really fun evening. Memories, you know. Yeah. Sometimes, you know, you sit back and you think about something like that, and then you think, wonder whatever happened to that guy. That's kind of what ran through my mind. I wonder whatever happened to him. Yeah, he was around for a little while. I think about 6 or 8 months or something we dated. It was a lot of fun, but you know, things happen, stuff changes. We moved on. Simple. But yeah, I remember that dress. And I was a lot smaller in those days. It was a beautiful dress. It was the only time that I've ever dressed in this sort of style, this really old. This is more Victorian. These pictures are more Victorian. The other one I was saying about another one that we were doing just previous to this, that the clothing looked more Edwardian to me. And there's differences in the clothing, so yeah. Gary's standing over here looking at the camera. Not sure if I have to be quiet for a minute or what. There, look at that. I actually got the pocket on and everything. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then this one. Then we'll be done the pages, and then we'll work on the cover. I just want to get this glued. The Victorian dresses are, to me, younger dresses. And they have a sexiness about them without them being sex. And I really quite like them. But Queen Victoria was, when she was younger, you know, after Albert died, it was sad because she was just devastated by his death, and she showed it. And basically the whole country went into mourning, and other places in the world did as well. So you have that dark, you know, the dark clothes and everything, very solemn looking things. But before that, if you look at her when she was younger, and the clothes she wore, and you know, the way that they looked, and she was very young and beautiful, and wore clothes like this, with the lower cut on the front, but still covering up the upper part of the, you know, the body, so that you were sort of showing your breasts, but not. So it's kind of cool. Anyway, a nice era. Oops. Get it straight. Get it straight. Okay. Gotta put this one back down because it didn't quite stay where it was supposed to. Okay. Now I'll turn this, get this turned. Okay. There. Okay. There. All right, that is all the pages done. So we're going to clip those together. I've got a big old paper clip over here. If I can get it off my magnet. There we go. I clip those together, and these go with those. And then we're going to move on to the cover. Okay, Gary had to change batteries there, so it's a little different here. But what I've decided is, now that we've finished making all the pages, I think what we're going to do is we're going to stop this video, and we will start again in the next video doing the cover and putting the pages into the cover. Because at this point, we're more than 45 minutes, going on an hour into the video, and I mean, Gary will whittle that down, but he can't take that much off of it, and I think it might be worthwhile starting afresh on the cover in the next video. So we're going to do that. So thank you very much. If you haven't gone and got this, the description box below has the link, and if you go and download it, and you can follow my video and work up to this point and then follow along with the rest of it, and you'll have yourself a really nice album slash accordion file folder, file box thing. Anyway, I will stop for now, and I will talk to you in the next video. Like and subscribe if you are, up to this point, because, I mean, obviously you like, and you may as well subscribe. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.